renovate something and increase your cash flow, then you got to figure out what they're going to pay more for. You want something that looks good and pops. Don't put in the cheapest faucet from Lowe's. Kind of look for that sweet spot. The more you do it, you kind of learn what works, what doesn't, what breaks easily, what doesn't. And you want things that are durable, but don't break the bank.
Thanks for joining us on another REI-NWA podcast. I'm your host, Coley Bailey. I'm an executive broker and team leader at the Lone Rock team at Fathom Realty. And today, this is episode 32. We're going to be talking about how to upgrade your cash flow on your rental properties through renovation with my really good friend, John Cloyd.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, man. I'm really glad to have you sitting at the desk this time.
It's an honor to be here. I've been listening to all 30 episodes, and I'm excited to finally get my own.
Yeah, this is fantastic. And you've been a big part of REI-NWA. You're actually our year-long sponsor. So if you guys come to any of the in-person meetings, you'll hear more about Perry Roofing. So I just wanted to go ahead and throw that out here at the beginning. But let's rewind the clocks a little bit and find out about you and where you're from, how you got started into the real estate game, and then what you're doing with it now.
All right, great. Really briefly, I grew up in Iowa. After graduating university there, I moved to New Mexico. Spent 4 or 5 years up in the mountains before finally using my education degree and moving overseas for 7 years.
I know so much of this story.
Okay.
I gotta come back a little bit. Okay, so in New Mexico.
Yes.
You were like a horse tour guide or something, right? What was
horses, snowmobile tours? Worked in Taos Ski Valley. Also worked at Philmont Boy Scout Ranch.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
You're a real life adventurer. We got to go hiking. It's amazing. We haven't actually been hiking. I know. So we need to do that.
Or horseback riding.
Yeah.
Either one.
Yep. Okay, cool. So then you went overseas.
Moved overseas, taught PE and athletic director and then school administrator in both China and Kazakhstan for 7 years total.
Wow.
During that time, started investing in rental properties, not here in Arkansas, but mostly in Memphis, Tennessee.
So were you buying those while you were overseas?
Correct.
Wow.
Turnkey providers are great.
Okay. Yeah, fantastic.
And when we were ready to move back to the United States, we came here to Arkansas, and I was kind of burnt out of the whole school teaching, administrating thing, and kind of wanted to make a jump going full-time in real estate.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And then when did Perry come into it?
Perry Roofing in 2019. So
Okay.
It's been just over 5 years now.
Okay.
I guess from 2015 to 2019 was strictly rentals.
Right. So you were building that portfolio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Buying rental properties. Actually, it was mostly small multifamily, anywhere from triplexes to I think our biggest complex was 50 units, 50 studio units.
Okay. And you sold that one off recently.
Sold that, yeah. Between 2019 and 2021, we liquidated the majority of the apartment complexes and kind of moved back into single family.
Okay. So how many, what's your portfolio like now?
I think we're back up over 50 doors. About half of those are 26 units of townhomes in one location, and then the rest kind of single family houses, mostly centered in South Fayetteville.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Fantastic. Yeah. So if you guys are in South Fayetteville and you start seeing, new things popping up or renovations or things for rent, this guy has a lot of
possible.
has a lot of irons in the fire in this part of town. So, well, let's talk about. So you've got a landlord lunch talk that's coming up, and by the way, it's going to be May 16th, 2024, at noon at the Wagon Wheel Cafe in Springdale. So come get some down home cooking and learn about upgrading cash flow through renovation. So let's talk about what are just some common sense ways that you can renovate your rentals so that you can actually get more cash flow coming in.
An important thing to think about is who it is you are trying to rent it to.
Yeah.
And what will that person or that family pay more money for? Because if that's the whole point is to renovate something and increase your cash flow, then you got to figure out what they're going to pay more for.
Right.
A real easy example and one that generally makes a lot of sense is washer and dryers. people like to be able to wash their clothes, do their laundry in their house, and not have to go to a laundromat, not have to lug everything and all that. So, if you can add washer and dryer hookups, if you're remodeling, say, an older house that maybe didn't have hookups originally, or an apartment complex or something that didn't have washer and dryer hookups, that's an easy, as long as the plumbing challenges aren't hard, but if you've got all the walls open and all that, if logistically it's easy to add the washer box and the dryer vent, that's one that's going to pay for itself, pretty quickly. $25, maybe even $50 a month extra in rent, every month.
Yeah. Or now what about like if you have, a complex or something and putting an on-site laundromat too?
I think that's a good secondary option.
Right.
We did do that in one of our apartment complexes. It does add some additional work. You've got to keep the apartment or the laundromat clean. You've got possible, whether you're either going to pay someone to manage it and deal with the machines and keep the machines working properly, or you're going to have some of those bills of maintenance and repairs and that sort of stuff. So there's trade-offs. It's definitely, you're not going to be able to charge an extra $50 a month rent just because there's a laundromat on site,
right?
But you might be able to get an extra 15 or 20, and then hopefully you'll also have income
from the laundromat. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so what other upgrades add to either the value of the property or higher rental amounts?
I think in terms of just the adding stuff, I think things like parking, possibly covered parking, whether it's a single family house or possibly apartment complex, people enjoy being able to park, whether it's in a garage or under a carport thing or something. I think, again, depending on who your avatar is, who you're trying to rent to,
right? They
may often pay more for to have a parking spot.
Yeah.
That's covered, protected, whatever. Backyard amenities are pretty easy. Fire pit, some landscaping that makes it easier to use the backyard. Is you kind of you're looking for that wow factor of them being able to just come out to me like, I can imagine myself, inviting some friends over, sitting around a campfire, having a few drinks, whatever. And if they're looking at multiple places and your place has that, even if it's maybe $15, $20, $30 more expensive, but they can really see themselves having a good time there, then I think that's, those are typically fairly inexpensive renovations, upgrades that really add to the look of the property. Probably another really big one that is a big rental market is pet owners.
Right.
And, I know some landlords are really scared about accepting pets. You've got the liability aspect of possible, larger dogs, dangerous dog breeds.
Right.
You've got the animals that, they're going to tear up the carpet. They're going to scratch up the floor.
Right.
But, pet owners are willing to pay $25, $50, sometimes even more per month for, they're family. It's like not letting your kid come live in the apartment with you. Like, and if a lot of landlords don't accept pets, and so if you do, then it opens up your rental pool.
But then, so how do you protect your property from the pets?
Okay, so that's the key. I think inside you've got to have durable flooring. A lot of people are going to LVP, luxury vinyl plank,
all throughout.
We don't put any carpet in. We do LVP throughout. Depending on the bathroom, we may put tile in, but really LPV is good in the bathroom.
It can go everywhere.
Kitchen, all of it, and I think that goes a little bit of screening too. You want to make sure that their pets maybe is taken care of, nails clipped, all that. But for the most part, I think LVP stands up really well to animals.
And if it doesn't, it's really easy to
replace. You don't have to do the whole flooring. You can just replace the damaged ones.
And then what about, like, especially if you have multiple units, you could buy in bulk.
You can buy in bulk.
You can actually store that LVP, and it's so easy to take in and out and switch pieces out, especially if you get the floating.
Correct.
Not the glue down.
Right. Yeah, no, you can replace only the pieces that are broken. You buy in bulk, you buy all the same material for all your units. Even if you got multiple single family houses, do all your paint the same color,
Right.
do all your flooring the same,
Yep.
all your fixtures, everything, and
Yep.
and then you can take advantage of those bulk buying and savings opportunities.
Yeah.
Fence backyards, kind of combining the pets
Yep.
and the amenities. If you have a fence backyard, they're
Mhm.
going to pay, again, pet owners are
Yep.
going to pay extra, or even families with young
Oh
kids.
yeah.
Everybody likes the
loves to have
safety
a-
of having,
Yep.
maybe be able to put their kid out in the yard and not have to worry about
Right.
traffic or whatever.
Yep.
The neighbor's dog.
Yep. Okay, so the thing that I see messed up the most in houses with pets is the door. Specifically the back door. It's just like scratches on the outside, scratches on the inside.
Put a doggy door in.
Ah, there you go.
And it's already there.
Yep.
And granted, if someone ends up moving in there that's not a pet owner,
Right.
maybe they don't want a doggy door. They can be locked. It's also pretty easy to switch out a door.
Yeah.
And then just save that door in your storage.
Well, don't they have like an
They do.
interior thing that slides in?
You can.
Yeah.
You can. Just save that in your.
Yeah.
Put it back in when the pets move out.
I mean, I don't know that it would bother somebody so bad if they didn't have a dog.
Probably not. But you also, when you take a pet, they'll pay more monthly.
Mhm.
They'll usually also pay a non-refundable pet deposit.
Yeah.
And so, if you're collecting $200, $300, $400 up front,
Right.
that will help pay for any damages, and you're getting an extra
Yeah.
$50 a month. That's a pretty big boost to cash flow.
Right.
And if you, again, like we talked about, if you put in fixtures and flooring and stuff that are durable,
Yeah.
then you're probably not going to have those big expenses at move out.
So what about things that are just upgrading, I don't know, fixtures, finishings, things like that? Is that worth it?
I think so. Again, what's your avatar?
Right.
Are you focusing on Section 8 tenants?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get more rent
Yeah.
for granite countertops versus linoleum or laminate countertops.
Right.
But again,
But would you not have to switch them out?
you have to
so
switch them out
often?
more often,
Yeah.
yes. So you got that added cost and all that. You want something that looks good and pops.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put in the cheapest faucet from Lowe's, but don't put in the $400 faucet from Lowe's either.
Right.
Kind of look for that sweet spot,
Yeah.
and it's there. The more you do it, you kind of learn what works, what doesn't, what breaks easily, what doesn't.
Yeah.
I always try to do something that I would want either my parents living in,
Right.
or my daughter living in, or myself living in.
Yeah.
You don't want to make it a junky place,
Right.
and you want things that are durable, but don't break the bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buying them, I think it's durability.
Yeah.
Really. It's and that goes for both pets and humans and everything. But you want that thing that looks good, and then they'll pay more for.
Yeah.
Yeah. That eye catching.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you walk in and it's a little more of a luxurious feel, it definitely translates into value. The renter's going to perceive more value in that place for sure.
And eventually you may sell the property someday.
Yep.
From if you end up selling it and a possible homeowner
Mhm.
looks at buying it, they'll, may let.
Yeah, it
the
definitely
resale
makes
value
definitely
well.
makes a difference
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Cool. So what about like even really big upgrades? Maybe like adding
Yes.
square footage to it, an ADU or
I think
things like that.
that's where you can really make
make
a big difference. We recently, in the last couple months, finished one. It was a 1930s build, 2-bedroom, 1-bath. I think originally it probably had a standalone garage, but they had put a breezeway, so now it was attached. The breezeway's still there, but we basically took the garage, added a master bath, added a master bedroom, added about 450 square foot, I think.
Yeah, wow.
So it went from a 1,200 square foot house to a 1,700 square foot house.
Yeah.
Instead of 2-bed, 1-bath, now it's 3-bed,
Mhm.
2-bath. Allowed us to rent it for obviously considerably amount more.
Right.
But then from the equity standpoint of the house,
Yeah, absolutely.
added significant amount of heated and cooled square foot for less than what the value was.
Yeah.
I think it pushed some equity pretty good. like you said, adding ADUs is another good one.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, depends on the layout of the house and all that. That gets a little bit past renovations.
Yeah.
Because now you're actually building really new construction.
Right.
So it adds a little complexity there, but it's doable. And I think really pushes, if you have the cash or financing to build the new, that's where, especially with interest rates so high, you got to be careful that you're not adding $400 a month in payments, but you're only adding $350 a month in extra rent.
Right.
Like, check those numbers. But
yep, for sure. All right. Well, this has been a really great talk already. So if you want to catch the rest of this, and he sent me a list of things. It was so long, and I was like, well, we can't talk about all that.
There'll be some more to talk about at the event.
But definitely come out to our landlord lunch. Again, it's going to be at the Wagon Wheel Cafe, May 16th, 2024. It'll be at noon. And come out and meet John and hear the full presentation. As always, it's going to be $20 at the door, or $0 if you are an REI-NWA member. And if you are a member, you can actually access this talk from anywhere in the world because it will be recorded and it'll be on our back end once you log into the site. You can actually get years worth of backlogged programs that various people various experts have given us their insights over the years. And so you can access that as a member at any time. And so, with that said, man, this was great.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
A lot of good, quick insights. I mean, this is actually a really action-packed episode that I think people will get a lot out of. So, really cool, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, glad to have you. All right, guys, we'll see you at the Landlord Lunch or on the next episode of the REI-NWA Podcast. Thanks.